Welcome back to World Crisis Radio. Webster Tarpley here in Washington, D.C. Let me remind everybody, you cannot hope to understand the kaleidoscope of world affairs in our time without three vital books that I have put together over the last 18 months. Obama, the Postmodern Coup, The Making of a Manchurian Candidate. You can find ways to buy all these at tarpley.net, www.tarpley, Tarpley.net, and you'll have things to click on to take you to buy each one of these. Obama, the Postmodern Coup, The Making of a Manchurian Candidate. Second one, Barack H. Obama, The Unauthorized Biography. Everything coming out about Obama past couple of months, all in there. You have the entire script for the revelations that have been coming and will come. Including the case made by Phil Berg into Supreme Court back in on August 21st of last year. And then you've got Surviving the Cataclysm, your guide through the worst financial crisis in human history, which is, if you want to become conversant and sophisticated in the main economic questions, that is to say, what's the difference between a collapse like 1987 or even 1929, and a disintegration like 1923, 1931 in Britain, or 2008, 2009 here in the U.S. We're now in a disintegration. At least we're headed up to one. We've had a collapse with disintegration overtones, and you can essentially learn this typology so that you can become your own economic pundit. You can cut through the nonsense and fluff of various funny money theorists, be they monetarists, Keynesians, or whatnot. So that's indispensable. Surviving the Cataclysm, your guide to the worst financial crisis in human history, where you also learn how your standard of living has been cut by 2/3 since the time of Lyndon B. Johnson. So look at all of those. Tarpley.net on the Internet. You can go then and go directly to buy them, and I hope you will. The economic breakdown crisis, therefore, 35 million Americans on food stamps, official unemployment, 10%, that's the minimal figure, 17% underemployed and unemployed, and real unemployment and underemployment between 21 and 25%, if you try to factor in these elusive people who have given up and dropped out. Of people who have mortgages, we've still got 10% of them on their way to foreclosure. We've also got the poverty level in the United States, the percentage of the U.S. population under the poverty line. And the poverty line means abject poverty, no two ways about it. It was 12.5% of the U.S. population in poverty in 2007, and then in the last year of Mad Dog Bush, the poverty level went up to 13.2%. So almost a full percentage point of increase in the poverty level between the penultimate and final years of the Mad Dog Bush regime. And of course, where that's going now is up, up, up. In other words, it's going to be a much bigger figure under poverty than Obama. So at least here, Bush and Obama agree that more Americans should be in abject, grinding poverty. And watch out, Austrians, because they're not going to be interested in your silly free market blather. The median household income, now this is a very deceiving statistic. The median household income, that means everybody in the family, right? It used to mean one paycheck, one wage earner. Now it may mean 2, 3, who knows how many. The median household income went from $52,000 a year approximately to $50,000 between 07 and 08. We're just now getting the figures for 08. So a $2,000 fall in the median household income, and this actually says a lot. There's a lot of results of layoffs in the auto industry in 06 and 07 and into 08, which are included in these figures, right? The Delphi bankruptcy, various kinds of shrinkages, which you could see were already undermining the housing market in the American Midwest. So that is an honest-to-God depression, again, with a 40% fall in world trade. I think the figure in the 1930s was a 60% contraction of world trade, but we're still falling, so don't worry about that part. Therefore, we can say it is a world economic depression of formidable proportions already and getting worse the entire time. Now, in the middle of this, we've also got the emerging dollar crisis. We've talked about the danger of inflation, hyperinflationary depression, hyperstagflation, the worst of both hyperinflation and deflation, in the same way that Carter managed to combine inflation and unemployment in stagflation. I think Obama will force us to coin new terms with his trilateral puppet regime. We've got the dollar reaching a low for 2009. That was on, I think, the 8th of September compared to the euro. It's essentially the euro has reached $1.45 to buy a euro. The yen hovering about 92 to 93 yen per dollar. Remember, the lower that yen figure goes, the stronger the yen gets and the weaker the dollar. And the higher the 145, I think the all-time high for the euro is about 147, so we're brushing up against the all-time high. So the dollar is very, very weak. It is, maybe it's a safe haven, but it's the weakest of all the safe havens that anyone can look at. Far better is gold. Gold is now over $1,000 an ounce, which also is a massive vote of no confidence in the Obama regime, the Bernanke Federal Reserve, and so on. So in the middle of all this, we're going to get the Pittsburgh meeting of the G20, and again, protest is really not going to do it. You've got to have concrete measures. If you want to bump out these finance oligarchs and kick them out of power, you've got to be ready to take power yourself, which means you have to know what to do. And that doesn't mean protesting. That means governing. That's kind of what you see with Obama. Good at protesting, but abysmal when it comes to governing. So this is the economic situation, and this is now feeding into the collapse of Obama. Let's take a look at this. It is, of course, the anniversary of the 9/11 events. It's the 8th anniversary today, and as we're recording this, therefore, let's just take a look at what's been going on in this area. Very interesting, these statements by Charlie Sheen. You remember that Charlie Sheen contributed to the high point historically of the 9/11 Truth Movement, which was the Alex Jones Conference in Los Angeles in June of 2006, where Charlie Sheen came forward, addressed the crowd, got a tremendous amount of media attention, and where we then had a panel which was then presented on C-SPAN in August, I think 6, 7 times, reputedly the most popular program in C-SPAN history, the most downloaded, the most commented upon, the one that got the most attention in the entire 20, 30-year history of C-SPAN. Charlie Sheen has now made 2 interventions. One is an interesting hypothetical scenario conversation Charlie Sheen is received at the White House by Obama. What does Charlie Sheen tell Obama? He points out 2 dozen or so holes in the official story, and he urges Obama to do something about this, to reopen the investigation, which of course is fine. Then you've also got Charlie Sheen putting that together with the help of Aaron Dykes over at InfoWars with a short video which sums up these same points. Now that was enough to get Hannity going berserk on his television program last night. So a lot of media attention around the 9/11 Truth Movement just at the time of the 8th anniversary. Now let's see what the possible optimistic organizing perspective might well be. At the end of August and the beginning of September, we had Cindy Sheehan coming forward and protesting against Obama's warmonger policies at Martha's Vineyard with a very robust media response to that, also worldwide through Russia Today, 2 appearances there and elsewhere. Washington Examiner, read by the entire federal bureaucracy here in the Washington subway, also talking about Cindy Sheehan. What could come out of this now in the coming weeks and months? We'll be back in a minute.